seal-offs are indeed required at the motors. The primary function of a seal-off is to impede the transmission of a hazardous environment from a classified zone to a non-hazardous one. Given that the motor is situated within a classified zone, specifically Class 1 Division 2, a seal-off becomes essential to avert the migration of the hazardous environment into the unclassified area. The National Electrical Code, or NEC, mandates that all explosion-proof enclosures within a Class 1 Division 2 area must incorporate a seal-off, irrespective of their internal components. This stipulation exists because the seal-off's primary objective is to thwart the spread of hazardous atmospheres. The inclusion of wire nuts, terminals, or other components does not compromise the seal-off's ability to fulfill this crucial function. An resistance temperature detector, or RTD, sensor housed within an explosion-proof enclosure in a Class 1 Division 2 area necessitates a seal-off. This requirement stems from the fact that the resistance temperature detector, or RTD, sensor is not classified as an intrinsically safe device. Consequently, the seal-off serves the critical role of preventing the propagation of a hazardous atmosphere into the non-hazardous zone. In essence, the seal-off acts as a barrier, minimizing the risk of an explosion or fire in areas where flammable gases, vapors, or dust may be present. The National Electrical Code, or NEC, provides detailed guidelines and specifications for the installation and application of seal-offs in hazardous locations. These guidelines are crucial for ensuring electrical safety and preventing accidents in potentially explosive environments. The NEC defines hazardous locations based on the type and likelihood of flammable substances being present. Class 1 locations involve flammable gases or vapors, while Class 2 locations involve combustible dusts, and Class 3 locations involve ignitable fibers or flames. Divisions further classify the probability of the hazardous substance being present. Division 1 indicates that the hazardous substance is likely to be present under normal operating conditions, while Division 2 indicates that it is only likely to be present under abnormal conditions such as a leak or spill. Explosion-proof enclosures are designed to contain an internal explosion without causing an external hazard. These enclosures are constructed to withstand the pressure of an internal explosion and prevent flames or hot gases from escaping into the surrounding atmosphere. Seal-offs are used in conjunction with explosion-proof enclosures to prevent the propagation of flames or hot gases through conduit systems. Seal-offs are typically installed at the boundary between a classified and unclassified area, or within a conduit run to limit the length of the conduit that could contain a hazardous substance. The installation of seal-offs requires careful attention to detail to ensure that they are properly installed and will function as intended. The seal-off must be filled with a suitable sealing compound that is compatible with the hazardous substance present. The sealing compound must be properly mixed and poured into the seal-off fitting to create a gas-tight seal. The National Electrical Code, or NEC, specifies the types of sealing compounds that are approved for use in different hazardous locations. The NEC also specifies the minimum distance that a seal-off must be located from an explosion-proof enclosure or other equipment. This distance is intended to prevent heat from the equipment from affecting the sealing compound and compromising the seal. In addition to the installation requirements, the NEC also specifies the inspection and maintenance requirements for seal-offs. Seal-offs should be inspected periodically to ensure that they are in good condition and that the sealing compound has not deteriorated. If the sealing compound is cracked or damaged, it must be replaced to maintain the integrity of the seal. Resistance temperature detectors, or RTDs, are temperature sensors that are commonly used in industrial applications. RTD are often installed in hazardous locations to monitor the temperature of processes or equipment. When a resistance temperature detector, or RTD, is installed in a hazardous location, it must be housed in an explosion-proof enclosure and protected by a seal-off. The seal-off prevents the propagation of flames or hot gases from the enclosure into the surrounding atmosphere. Intrinsically safe devices are designed to operate safely in hazardous locations without the need for explosion-proof enclosures or seal-offs. Intrinsically safe circuits limit the amount of energy available to ignite a hazardous atmosphere. Intrinsically safe devices are often used in applications where it is not practical or feasible to use explosion-proof enclosures or seal-offs. However, resistance temperature detectors, or RTDs, are typically not intrinsically safe devices, so they must be protected by explosion-proof enclosures and seal-offs when installed in hazardous locations. The proper installation and maintenance of seal-offs is essential for electrical safety in hazardous locations. Failure to properly install or maintain seal-offs can result in a fire or explosion. Electrical inspectors and qualified electricians should be consulted to ensure that seal-offs are properly installed and maintained in accordance with the National Electrical Code, or NEC. In summary, when dealing with motor circuits and resistance temperature detectors, or RTDs, in Class 1 Division 2 hazardous locations, remember these key points. Firstly, seal-offs are mandatory at the motors to prevent hazardous atmospheres from entering non-hazardous areas. Secondly, any explosion-proof housing in a Class 1 Division 2 area requires a seal-off, irrespective of the internal components. Thirdly, resistance temperature detectors, or RTDs, in explosion-proof enclosures also require seal-offs due to their non-intrinsically safe nature. Always adhere to the National Electrical Code, or NEC, guidelines to ensure safety and compliance. Now let's delve deeper into the specifics of seal-offs, explosion-proof enclosures, and related concepts. Seal-offs are not simply passive components, they are engineered safety devices with precise construction and installation requirements. The sealing compound used in a seal-off is crucial to its effectiveness. It must be a material that is not only fire-resistant but also chemically compatible with the specific hazardous substances present in the environment. For instance, if the environment contains gasoline vapors, the sealing compound must be resistant to degradation by gasoline. The National Electrical Code, or NEC, provides lists of approved sealing compounds for various hazardous substances. The installation process is equally critical. The conduit system must be properly supported and aligned to ensure that the seal-off fitting is not subjected to undue stress. The sealing compound must be mixed according to the manufacturer's instructions and poured into the fitting in a manner that eliminates air pockets. Air pockets can compromise the integrity of the seal and create a pathway for hazardous substances to escape. The depth of the sealing compound is also specified by the National Electrical Code, or NEC, and must be strictly adhered to. Explosion-proof enclosures are designed to contain an internal explosion and prevent it from propagating to the surrounding atmosphere. This is achieved through a robust construction and precise engineering. The enclosure's walls must be thick enough to withstand the pressure generated by an internal explosion. The joints and seams must be tightly sealed to prevent the escape of flames or hot gases. The cover of the enclosure must be securely fastened to the body with bolts or screws that are designed to withstand the force of an explosion. Explosion-proof enclosures are not simply generic boxes, they are carefully engineered and tested to meet specific safety standards. The enclosures are typically certified by a third-party testing laboratory, such as Underwriters Laboratories, or all, to ensure that they meet the requirements of the National Electrical Code, or NEC, and other applicable standards. The certification mark on the enclosure indicates that it has been tested and found to be safe for use in hazardous locations. When selecting an explosion-proof enclosure, it is important to consider the specific hazardous substances present in the environment. The enclosure must be designed to withstand the corrosive effects of these substances. For instance, if the environment contains corrosive chemicals, the enclosure should be made of a corrosion-resistant material such as stainless steel. It is also important to consider the temperature range of the environment. The enclosure must be able to withstand the high temperatures that can be generated by an internal explosion. The National Electrical Code, or NEC, specifies the maximum allowable temperature for explosion-proof enclosures. Resistance temperature detectors, or RTDs, are temperature sensors that rely on the principle that the electrical resistance of a metal changes with temperature. RTD are typically made of platinum, nickel, or copper. Platinum RTD are the most common type because they offer high accuracy and stability over a wide temperature range. RTD are available in a variety of configurations, including 2-wire, 3-wire, and 4-wire. The 3-wire and 4-wire configurations are used to compensate for the resistance of the lead wires, which can affect the accuracy of the measurement. When a resistance temperature detector, or RTD, is installed in a hazardous location, it must be protected by an explosion-proof enclosure and a seal-off. The enclosure protects the resistance temperature detector, or RTD, from physical damage and prevents it from becoming a source of ignition. The seal-off prevents the propagation of flames or hot gases from the enclosure to the surrounding atmosphere. The National Electrical Code, or NEC, provides specific requirements for the installation of resistance temperature detectors, or RTDs, in hazardous locations. These requirements include the type of enclosure, the location of the seal-off, and the wiring methods. It is important to follow these requirements carefully to ensure that the installation is safe and compliant with the National Electrical Code, or NEC. Intrinsically safe circuits are designed to limit the amount of energy available to ignite a hazardous atmosphere. This is achieved through the use of special barriers that limit the voltage and current in the circuit. Intrinsically safe circuits are often used in applications where it is not practical or feasible to use explosion-proof enclosures or seal-offs. For instance, intrinsically safe circuits are commonly used in portable instruments that are used in hazardous locations. The National Electrical Code, or NEC, provides specific requirements for the design and installation of intrinsically safe circuits. These requirements include the type of barriers, the wiring methods, and the grounding requirements. It is important to follow these requirements carefully to ensure that the installation is safe and compliant with the National Electrical Code, or NEC. Grounding is an important safety measure in any electrical installation, but it is especially important in hazardous locations. Grounding provides a path for fault current to flow back to the source, which helps to trap the circuit breaker or fuse and prevent a shock hazard. The National Electrical Code, or NEC, provides specific requirements for grounding in hazardous locations. These requirements include the type of grounding electrode, the size of the grounding conductor, and the bonding requirements. It is important to follow these requirements carefully to ensure that the installation is safe and compliant with the National Electrical Code, or NEC. Regular inspection and maintenance are essential to ensure the continued safety of electrical installations in hazardous locations. The National Electrical Code, or NEC, requires that electrical installations in hazardous locations be inspected periodically. The inspection should include a visual inspection of the equipment, a test of the grounding system, and a check of the seal-offs. Any deficiencies that are found during the inspection should be corrected promptly. Maintenance should include cleaning the equipment, tightening connections, and replacing worn or damaged parts. It is important to keep accurate records of all inspections and maintenance. These records can be used to track the performance of the equipment and to identify potential problems before they become serious. In addition to the National Electrical Code, or NEC, there are other standards and regulations that may apply to electrical installations in hazardous locations. These standards and regulations may be issued by federal, state, or local agencies. It is important to be familiar with all of the applicable standards and regulations before designing or installing an electrical installation in a hazardous location. Failure to comply with these standards and regulations can result in fines, penalties, and even criminal charges. Therefore, a comprehensive understanding of seal-offs, explosion-proof enclosures, resistance temperature detectors, or RTDs, intrinsically safe circuits, grounding, inspection, and maintenance is paramount. Adherence to the National Electrical Code, or NEC, and other relevant standards is not merely a matter of compliance, it is a commitment to safety and the prevention of potentially catastrophic events. In summary, consider the intricacies involved in selecting, installing, and maintaining electrical systems in hazardous locations. The potential for explosions and fires necessitates a meticulous approach to every aspect of the installation, from the choice of materials to the execution of wiring methods. Ignoring the stringent requirements of the National Electrical Code, or NEC, and other applicable standards can have dire consequences, jeopardizing lives and property. Therefore, continuous education, rigorous training, and an unwavering commitment to safety are essential for all those involved in the design, installation, and maintenance of electrical systems in hazardous locations. It's about more than just following a set of rules. It is about understanding the underlying principles of electrical safety and applying them to every task, large or small. It is about creating a culture of safety that permeates every aspect of the work, from the initial planning stages to the final inspection. It is about recognizing that electrical safety is not just a technical issue, it is a moral imperative.